Next on Anna Live, I had a great time chatting with DJ Lite Brite, a young, energetic millennial entrepreneur with fierce skills to drop some beats that will make you want to get up and groove. DJ Lite Brite, whose real name is Jalen Dorsey, is a native of Frisco, Texas. Standing at 6'8", this gentle giant is a vibrant monument that draws you into your happy place as he spins on the ones and twos. So when you think about your DJ experience, did it come just because you love music?
I can't say that it did. You know, I think that many DJs, many artists can say that work in music can say that, you know, that's where that came from. But I just wanted to be around a lot of people.
This is interesting to me and I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm just observing that DJs at one point, they at that time, they spun records.
Yes.
You did not hear from them.
Yes.
Okay, but DJs today,
yes,
it's a whole nother story.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Everybody in here celebrating a birthday tonight?
I really try to put myself in those shoes so that way I know what kind of experience to create, because that is what the DJ has become. The clubs that book us, the bars that book us, the music entities that book us, they bring us there to build that space, to make something from here go to here, as I mentioned earlier.
Not only is he a DJ, but he is aspiring to leverage every area of his influence in the world of entertainment. Talking with you and talking with Dina, you galvanize other DJs in your community or other young people to really encourage them to take the leap to entrepreneurship, to consider business. So if you were thinking about how to become, or how did these guys do it, how would you perceive their business model behind the scenes?
It is so fine-tuned to a point where it's seen trial and error from day one to the moment that they're at today, and then they're going to continue to move forward. Those people that I mentioned earlier and other people who have seen success, like, they're not afraid to fail.
He shares his love for his craft and passion for activating, encouraging, and equipping other artists to own their brand, build their empire, and do well by teaching and uplifting their communities. Join us on Fridays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time at Dr. Anna McCoy on Facebook. Welcome everybody, this is Anna McCoy. Welcome to Anna Live. I am, first of all, y'all know I love this next generation. I love individuals that are like full of innovation, full of ideas, full of creativity, and also a voice to this generation. And I believe the young man that I'm going to have the privilege to be with today, Jalen Dorsey, is going to come with some concepts and some ideas that are going to, first of all, I think, just touch your heart to dream bigger. Number two, to have hope around your own idea. And it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are, you can still make it happen. So welcome, Jalen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited that you're here.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody, this is nephew. This is nephew, y'all. And the reason why it's nephew, he is the nephew of a good friend of mine, Dina. And Dina and I were talking actually recently.
Yes.
And she says, listen, Anna, I just love what you're doing. I love this whole entrepreneurial thing. And when Jalen, when she started talking about you, it was over. It was over. And she was talking about all the wonderful things that you're doing. Of course, you're a DJ and you have some other business interests. But she says, you know what? I don't know what this means, but if you can just talk with Jalen. So she got you on the phone.
She did.
And when I saw you, I'm like, and I heard you starting to talk about what was important to you, and just a brief moment that we shared, I was like, nephew, got to be on here. So what I would like you to do, I'd like you to talk about, first of all, tell me a little about your journey, a little bit about your journey. And you're in your middle 20s, and what's important to you now?
Wow. So my journey essentially as a DJ began when I was 17, 18. My first party was a party for a lot of my high school friends from my hometown of Frisco. And I really was just going in as someone to play the music, not really thinking of anything of it. And the party actually ended with everyone getting pepper sprayed. It was like the party got a little out of control. And so I'll tell you, I didn't think that I was going to continue DJing as my first experience ends with a mass chaos of sort. Everyone was okay, but I wasn't just really considering going on to do that. So I go off to school out in Western Oklahoma. I began playing basketball on a basketball scholarship and actually pursuing a dream of what I think is to be an engineer. I'm in an engineering department, and I actually struggled quite a bit in the department. I don't think it was set up for the type of student that I was, and now being in the work that I am, I can understand, the creative versus the more structured lessons of just the engineering and the technical side. So I stepped away from that midway through my college life and started majoring in mass communication, and that's when social media was really starting to come to a point where people were seeing the value of having your business and just branding yourself kind of just as a person on social media, so on and so forth. So my introduction into media, into newspaper and film and just putting something in text to put out for, again, social media, it started to make me think like, okay, what else is there outside of just regular basic careers that I'm thinking, an engineer or a doctor, what is outside of the traditional? And when I was in that field, I began to DJ a bit more just on the side as a little bit of a hustle, and a couple of opportunities came about where I could DJ a wedding, and then I could DJ a campus event, and a little light bulb clicked. And I was like, well, I've been doing a few parties here and there. I've got some of my friends on my side, like they like the way that I play music. I'm starting to bring together different types of people. Now, just a small step to the side, the school that I went to, it was in Western Oklahoma. It was predominantly very country. And so...
Country?
Very country, very. And so seeing the people that were there, my peers that were athletes, and then I also had peers that came from Asia and peers that came from Africa. So we were all kind of in one place that we weren't familiar with. And the music brought us together. The house parties on the weekends brought us together. So we were beginning to bring different people together that I knew probably typically didn't mix well. And that really piqued my interest in seeing that providing a place where, you're not in class, we're not studying, we're not worrying about student loan debt and, what our final is like. We're just here to dance to the music and enjoy each other. That was something that I really, really wanted to be around.
So when you think about your DJ experience, did it come just because you loved music?
I can't say that it did. I think that many DJs, many artists can say that work in music can say that, that's where that came from. But I just wanted to be around a lot of people. I wanted, some may coin it as like a center of attention, but that necessarily wasn't it.
Well, Jalen, okay, you sitting down right now.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Jalen is 6'8" people. Right, 6'8"?
Yes, that is correct.
6'8" with a 4 extra inches, okay?
That's
so
correct.
it's hard for you not to be the center.
You are correct. And I think that in a lot of different points, I took that and said, okay, well, let's take something from here and take it to here.
Yes.
I was coined as wild by some of my cousins as a young kid. And so I think I just played with that within the realms because, you know, when you're with your friends and let's say the moment is dull, how can we take it up within reason and have a good time? And I always wanted to do that. And then when I figured out I could do it with music, it's like, let's really, really figure out.
Well, this is interesting to me and I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm just observing that DJs at one point, they at that time, they spun records.
Yes.
You did not hear from them.
Yes.
Okay, but DJs today, it's a whole nother story.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
So talk to me about that, what that means to you as an entertainer, and what does that mean to kind of that entertainment experience?
Well, I think it comes down to the point of like figuring out why people have come to a certain place. So as a DJ, I DJ weddings, corporate events, school formals, parties, clubs, the whole nine.
Right.
So I try to identify in each situation why someone is there. Okay, we're at a wedding, we're here to celebrate two people.
Right.
We're here to be with family and friends and so on and so forth. So my job as the DJ is to like create that environment that's so warm and family friendly that you are in this just like mode and mood of like, I'm here to support these people. I'm going to bring out my most excitement because that's what they want on this day. Maybe if you're at the club or the bar and you're having a couple of drinks, there could be a different range of reasons why you're there. Maybe one to celebrate the wedding that you were just at, let's say, or maybe you had a rough week at work and you're just wanting to let loose and dance on the dance floor. I really try to put myself in those shoes so that way I know what kind of experience to create because that is what the DJ has become. The clubs that book us, the bars that book us, the music entities that book us, they bring us there to build that space, to make something from here go to here, as I mentioned earlier. And it wasn't always like that, as you mentioned. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and the DJ was the backup for the dancers, the b-boys that used to get out. They would play a record and it would be a 7-minute record and there was a dance break where everyone got out and just grooved. The DJ didn't say a word. But now there's a time where the music speaks and then we add the lights and then we add the pyrotechnics if you have those. And then we add this DJ who has this voice who also helps move the crowd in certain ways. And it's one thing that I will say is like very liberating because it feels good to provide something to someone that brings them so much joy. It's like, how can you not be, happy from that?
So then, and this is going to bring us to the point of why you're really here in the sense of establishing what this environment really looks like because people think they know, and I know that it's evolved into artistry. When we talk about being a DJ, what do you think is who is the highest paid DJ?
The highest paid DJ I would say is
celebrities.
Probably there's a gentleman by the name of Steve Aoki, Calvin Harris, Diplo. Those are DJ producers that are paid anywhere from $500,000 to
millions,
2 or 3 millions of dollars. Yes, maybe even more to perform.
So now let's start there because this is what makes this really interesting. And I know it's not so much that you're trying to figure out how to do your next gig, doing another wedding, doing something, but I think this conversation is much bigger in the sense of when you look at a person like that, beyond just social media, beyond celebrity, that behind the scenes, they've got to be figuring this out from a business model.
Definitely. Okay,
and with that being said, you are also, I would call you, from talking with you and talking with Dina, you galvanize other DJs in your community or other young people to really encourage them to take the leap to entrepreneurship, to consider business. So if you were thinking about how to become, or how did these guys do it? How would you perceive their business model behind the scene?
I think their business model behind the scene is so fine-tuned to a point where it's seen trial and error from day one to the moment that they're at today, and then they're going to continue to move forward. Those people that I mentioned earlier and other people who have seen success, like they're not afraid to fail.
Yes.
And I believe that that is the one thing that separates someone who just wants to kind of do something like, oh, I'm just going to dip my toes in the water and just kind of say that I'm doing it and not really go full-fledged in versus the person that does. And, you know, again, the people that I've mentioned, their fame wasn't overnight.
Right. They
people,
took a journey, as we always do.
Exactly.
And I feel like sometimes let me give you an example when I talk about what do you think that business model is behind the scene, right? So if we did a one-page business model, right, which is called a lean business model or a lean business canvas, and we did one for the Anna Live show. That's it, just for this broadcast. Okay, many people start on Facebook Live and they just do their thing, but they never stop to consider, what could I do with this as a business model? And so when I think about you from a DJ perspective, or any of those that you're helping to take the leap, how could we do that? How could we help them, what we call level up, to get off just being the talent in the room, having a lot of fun? And we were talking about this whole gig economy for young people. How do we move them to the next level through a business model? What we did for this show, we sat down, we began to look through the business model. For example, what's the value proposition? When you think about yourself, you've already identified it for me. You're saying, hey, I am here to make someone feel good. I am here to create atmosphere. I am also here to move people, so that ultimately I've created an environment that adds to the ultimate goal. Okay, so what I just identified was a system, right? And it's always consists of 4 moving parts, or 1 or more moving parts, but 4 different areas, right? And I said, first of all, you're here to do what? You're here to galvanize the people. You're here to bring your talent, your skills, and your ability to cause something, to create an atmosphere and emotion and a physical environment for something magical to happen that supports the people who actually hire you. And so when we think about a system, we looked at what's our value proposition for the Anna Live show, right? The value proposition is we promote entrepreneurs and we create a platform for them to promote themselves, which means everything we do, we're trying to leverage this piece of content and move it to the next level, so it continues to do what? Bring a value add to you. So this won't just be seen on Facebook. Right. It's going to be leveraged to be heard on American Urban Radio Network, which is Super Radio Network in New York. It'll be leveraged again to be seen on a Roku channel. It'll be leveraged again and again and again, and from Instagram stories to all of these different platforms. And so when I think about your ability or your desire to help DJs kind of level up and become business people, what kind of business can you help them create in leverage?
Yes. So I'll take one group of DJs and we'll kind of build off of that. So there are many peers of mine that are producers. Yes. And so with their music, they are, they're producing, they're taking inspiration and creating it and so on and so forth. What I've seen come from the younger generation of kids, anyone from like 7 years old to 12 years old. Those kids love the YouTube and the SoundCloud. Yeah. They are constantly looking for what new music is to be seen out there. I work with a lot of elementary school kids and middle school kids, and when I go to those places, they are the first ones to be up on the new music and who is producing this, whose newest music video is on these platforms. One of the visions that I've seen is placing these kids who are these producers and who want to take their step into the DJ world, is starting to place them in a place where they can play at the high school proms, at the middle school dances, where they can start creating a relationship with the kids who may support them in the future, because they are the consumer. At the end of the day, those kids are.
Yeah.
When I go to my daughter's school, all of these kids are asking me, do I know the hottest DJ in the world right now? Well, because I'm a DJ, that blows their mind.
Yes, yes.
They want to attract to that. And when the school sees that, the school sees value in this being a presence in the school, because these kids are seeing a good, positive role model. Now, the DJs that I do work with, the talent, the men and the women, they are upstanding citizens, so it's not putting anyone that's not.
Well, what's interesting, I love that. I love what you're saying. You're saying is that you're meeting, I think what I'm hearing is you all are meeting these young people for the future.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That you're meeting them right where they are. I think it's absolutely wonderful, especially if they have iPads or tablets with all these beats on it. Because, I be beating it down. And I be, what is it called? Smules, where you can do auto rap. Auto-tune.
Oh, I'm not sure I know about this one. Hold on. You might have to put me up on this one.
I need somebody to bring me my iPad so I can let y'all hear me rap
yes,
all the songs I got. All I gotta do is talk, and I got all these words, and then I'm like, bam, bam, bam. I be doing it, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes, I love all this stuff. In fact, on the, like on GarageBand, they've got so many beats there that. I'm like, oh, okay, let me try this. That you can make your own loops and all that stuff. Y'all need some help. Y'all just call me up because I'm Night Preacher. Night Preacher's a DJ. You know that.
Okay.
Some of y'all don't know it, but just look me up on #Night Preacher, and you'll find me doing all of my playlists and stuff. But actually, I'm a pretty good DJ in the sense of what Facebook would allow me to do, and what had happened was they started cutting me off, because I was playing the people music and stuff, and then
the copyright.
Then I'd lie and say it was mine. I'm just confessing. You know what I'm saying? But the people needed to hear the music. They were just being ministered to, and that's what I love about music. But I want to also talk about, because you're not just a DJ. What I really love is that at your age, you are already starting in your mid-20s. I love the fact that you're really thinking about the future.
Yes.
You're also, I think what I heard is that you want to consider investing in real estate, other kind of technologies, different things. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And here's the one thing you should know about real estate.
Okay.
You can't make no more land.
I hear that.
You can't make no more land, right?
Seems to be like
unless you
the catalyst in it all.
Dubai. Now, if you're in Dubai, you can make the palms.
This is different money out there.
Yes, you can put some rocks in the ocean, and I don't know how they did it, but you can build and put stilts and make some land and put something on. But for the most part, the land that is here is the land that's here, and that's why real estate is really awesome because it does appreciate. And so, tell me what you would if you had. How much money do you think you would need for your first project?
For my first project,
let me see if you're really interested. Come on, man. Don't be scared.
For my first project, I would say I need about $500,000.
What you gonna do with it?
Well, I have a couple of ideas. So I mentioned to you prior to the show my wife's hometown.
Yes.
There's a lot of land there that is it's undeveloped. It's an older town. There's sides of the town that have just kind of been left alone. One of my visions is to buy back that property, buy it up and fix it up and get it to a standard where we can start to redevelop it and potentially place back housing that was taken from people from that area that, don't have that opportunity.
And some of these places, people like it the way it is.
Right.
So follow your dreams.
Well, and I think that is one of the things that I've learned, even when you're considering moving forward in a space where I don't have any experience in.
Yes.
So there's another place that I've considered. So back in Oklahoma City, we mentioned pre-show that that's where I spent the last 7-8 years prior to last summer. Oklahoma City is growing very fast, and it's a place that many may look at and say, well, there's not much going on there. It's some years behind other metropolitan areas. that's fine. But in terms of the field that I play in, which is entertainment, it is bubbling, and there are a lot of different opportunities. There are a lot of places that when things happen, like the crash of the gas and oil industry there, places were abandoned, well, we have a lot of redevelopment coming back. And so there are a lot of investment opportunities. There are a lot of other socialites and investors who, have the resources that are my age that are working there. And so for me, it's one, not being, bitter and potentially like, I wish I had the funds to get in. It's two, paying attention to those peers and watching exactly what they're doing and seeing how they're moving, because I feel like you can just always learn, even if you don't do exactly what they're doing. So
I really love that about you, and just hearing your passion for it, and you even sharing prior to the show that these are forward-looking opportunities. The other thing I just heard you say that I think we need to be aware of is different communities. The way we connect in the world today, we don't just connect with each other.
Right.
First, we kind of connect, we have family, but then because we can go out and search for exactly what we want, right?
Yes.
The way people are connecting is different. Like when you talk about your community, or you talk about different communities, are really from the space of what your interest is, right? And then watching those communities evolve. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And so what you see, I may not see it at all as a real estate investor, but if you are committed to those kinds of communities, and because things are hubs, you're like, when we first started in real estate 20 years ago, in Inglewood, California, our family had been living there for years. My uncle and his family and grandchildren and so forth, been living there for probably before I got there, maybe about 20, 25 years, right? And I recognized in that community that community was changing. So as we started our business, my former ex-husband, I said to him, I think that what we should do is invest in this community. He was like, nah, you don't know. We're going to go somewhere else. It's probably not, because what he saw was stuff that kind of looks, it looked like it'd been here for a while. It didn't look like it was changing, didn't have any big box retailers there, different things. And I was like, no, there's some things going under the underbelly of this that you may not be aware of. And we should really consider this. So about 5 years later, we did not consider it, by the way. So 5 years later, we start to see this space starting to redevelop. Well, guess what? It was too late then. Now, here it is 20 years later, Inglewood doesn't even look like the same place.
I've heard through hip hop music.
Yes.
That with it just.
No, it's not even the same. It's gentrified, or whatever it's called. It's changing. It's evolved. The street. I mean, literally, I started going to California when I was 15. So that's almost 40 years ago, okay? And literally, you had block parties, the stuff you see on television with some of these things. These families were very knitted together. We had block parties. The entire street would shut down. Everybody comes out with their food. They had bands. They had music, beatbox, whatever things, right? And whereas today, we ended up selling that home to actually, I think, a Russian and maybe a Hispanic couple, right? And I'm thinking, this is something, because when my uncle moved there in like 65, 66, maybe in that particular house, maybe around 1970, he paid about $30,000 for that house. Okay, that house sold when my mother sold it for right around $400,000.
Oh my goodness.
Today you can't buy that house for less than $575.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and so these kinds of things, I think, as we are growing and maturing, and the things that are really important to us, I believe that we are, the way we engage with people, we are engaging very specifically. And so if you have the opportunity to start do you have more than one business out of the DJ business?
Yes.
What other business are you
So essentially, I have the DJ business, which is myself, DJ Lite Brite. Then I have my Brightest Lights Entertainment. That is my photo booth rentals. event lighting. I also book other DJs for their own services, marquee letters, kind of event consultation. And then I also have a consultation business where I consult with other entrepreneurs, other business owners, other DJs. And so in those three, they kind of run hand in hand.
Yes, but I love that they're going down the same lane. It's okay to have multiple, build your empire, literally. Build all your ventures, you know, create it.
Yes.
Right? But if you're going down the same lane, like the same railroad track, and you just got a couple of different cars on it, it's all going the same way, and you can use that as the momentum. I think it's awesome. So tell people how they can get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is where I'm most active. YouTube by searching DJ Lite Brite. It's LITEBRITE 93. So altogether, DJ Lite Brite 93. I have a vlog on YouTube that's essentially behind the scenes look at my DJ life, kind of ins and outs of each weekend. And then through my Instagram, you'll see a bit more of kind of like my day in and day out, things with family, things with business, people that I'm meeting with, experiences like this that we have. Be on your Instagram? Yes, of course. So different experiences like that. And so on each different medium, you can kind of get a different piece of me. But one of the main things that you can for sure get is realness. And that's what my biggest thing is moving forward. I know that a lot of people, well, I want to say moving forward from the jump. It's when I even landed on social media, it was, being authentic. Because I know that there can be a rhetoric painted about social media, and that there are some people that use social media for different reasons. But for me, and as you just mentioned, like it's the connectivity. There's so many ways to build and network, and I know that my entire career is really based off of how strong my network has been, how authentic I've been, and just how real and how fun everything's been. And so you'll always see that through my social media, and so I definitely like to make sure that people kind of gravitate that way, and we can get to know each other and just kind of move forward, keeping up with each other in the sphere, and potentially one day, maybe something that I do connects with someone that follows, or maybe we can refer and connect in a different way, or maybe I know someone to help your someone, and it's not even about you and I, it's about the connections that we know that come together.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Jalen. Is there anything that maybe I haven't asked you, or anything you might want to ask me?
Well, I would just say for the people that are watching, knowing, or if you know a DJ, kind of ask them what their purpose is with DJing, and if it's completely different than what mine is, there's no right or wrong answer. I think what's important is for all of us to just have a purpose in what it is that we're doing. For me, we mentioned bringing people together. Growing up the way that I grew up in, I was taken from an area that maybe wasn't going to provide the best life for me, and brought to a community that had a lot of opportunity. And in that move, I was able to meet so many different people and be put in a position to literally connect with so many different people from so many different walks of life. And that was what drove me to continue pushing that in my entertainment career, bringing those people together. So if you know a DJ, or if you know someone in entertainment, ask them. If maybe you have a partner that's just in any other career, kind of ask them what their purpose is. And if you don't, try to figure out what it is. And I think
I say go for it.
Yeah, because it'll give you more of a sense of, and not saying that you don't have one, but maybe a more sense of, what's the word for, focus on what it is, and it'll push you to make sure that you are leading with that purpose every time you step into what it is that you're doing, instead of just kind of being like, oh, I'm just here to do this because of that, and then you may find out that your purpose isn't there, and then that, like you said, then you go find something else that is your purpose. So that's what I'd like to leave for y'all.
Thank you, Jay. And for those who are watching us today, thank you so much for watching. You are loved, you are appreciated, you're celebrated, and you are valued. If you'd like to get in touch with me, be a guest on Anna Live, you can visit us at annamccoy.com. So thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.